just enough to be wild for the evening. We fall apart to start believing. I know this feeling drips down my body in the sun. This is the real thing, and I am overcome. Our heads are reeling, my heart beating like a band. Lift up the ceiling as I open up my hands. Oh, this is chemical. Oh, lost in a gold rush. Oh, this is the promise of reckless and ruthless love. We build it up with songs of the broken, caught in the rough between us in a moment. I know this fire reaches the corners of my truth. Oh, I am lighter when I'm reflecting you. Tonight I'm all in. I trade my past for something new. I'll let it reach in to see what this can do. Moving, moving, moving. It's moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Going moving, moving, moving. Going moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Going moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, moving. Moving, moving, I know this feeling drips down my body in the sun. This is the real thing, and I'm overcome. I know this feeling drips down my body in the sun. This is the real thing, and I am overcome. Our heads are reeling, my heart beating like the band. Lift up the ceiling as I open up my hands. Oh, this is chemical. Oh, caught in a gold rush. Oh, this is the promise of reckless and ruthless love.
Hey, good morning, Gold Creek. It is the day after Thanksgiving. Are you full Are you lazy? I know I am both, and it's glorious. It's good to hang out every once in a while and just kind of relax and celebrate. I think Thanksgiving, for at least for me, has been more needed than ever before because it's one of my favorite holidays. Just super fun. So I hope you've been able to enjoy it in some capacity. I also know Thanksgiving and holidays are a source of contention for a lot of people. I'm a chaplain with the Snohomish County Sheriff's Department, and I know that a lot of suicides happen in the holidays. Holidays are not good for a lot of people. So this kind of goes in with the fact that holidays can be good, holidays can be bad. We're going to be in 2 Peter chapter 3. And with 2 Peter, with this chapter, he's talking about false prophets. False prophets are people who tell you not to follow God, essentially. And I think our world, more than ever, tells us not to follow God, that it's not worth it. And it's just not true. It's just not true. It is worth it to follow God. And false prophets tell lies. And what it's going to talk about here is how the world and desires and all these things lie to us. Okay? So we're going to be 2 Peter chapter 3, chapter 2, verse 18. It says this: "They brag about themselves with empty, foolish boasting. With an appeal to twisted sexual desire, they lure back into sin those who've barely escaped from a lifestyle of deception. They promise freedom, but they themselves are slaves to sin and corruption. For you are a slave to whatever controls you." Now, the reason why that stuck out to me with our one-year Bible reading is because holidays can be really good or really bad, or because of COVID, we're all in like a heightened level of stress and anxiety. And if it's like COVID plus for you, plus family, which is already stressful maybe on a normal year, it makes for potentially a really anxious time for you. And what happens is when we get stressed out, we choose to cope. Now, coping is a normal human mechanism. I cope just like everybody else, but you need to learn to cope in good ways. The first way, obviously, is going to God. He says that He can meet us. In fact, on Tuesday when I was talking in my devotion, Jesus experienced all the things we went through, yet didn't sin. So we can trust Him, that we can go to Him if we're going through a hard season. The other thing is finding something that can help you disconnect from these things a healthy way. It's exercise is a natural way to disconnect from a lot of emotional stress. But the thing it talked about, like twisted sexual desires and all these things, I have been overrun by personal friends and then just people that I knew who've had affairs lately. And it's a sad reality of the stress that COVID in this season has caused. And what happens a lot during the holidays too, people relapse if they're in addictions, and relationships are strained even more, and families. Sometimes it's not great. I want to encourage you today, day after Thanksgiving, that God is big enough for all of our stuff. God is big enough to take the thing that we don't think we can handle ourselves. And when you get to that place where you feel like you're being tempted, right? This false prophet in 2 Peter is tempting them. They're promising in them that, these twisted sexual desires, or the things that they were enslaved to, like addictions, were going to be good. And it's the same, right? This is the same 2,000 years ago as it is today. We struggle with these same things. We try and find coping mechanisms for all the things. My encouragement for you today is that God's big enough for everything. Jesus is big enough to carry all of our baggage. He's big enough to help us learn to cope in healthy ways. I want to encourage you today. Don't give up. Don't make a mistake. Don't fall into sin. If you're feeling tempted, or if you feel like you want to get away or do something you would potentially regret, pick up the phone and call somebody who can support you. That's a good thing. That's a really important thing. I would say if you're not in that place, if you're good with your family, you've had a great week, now might be the time for you to serve somebody else, that you pick up the phone today Today's Friday. Pick up the phone, call somebody who you know might be going through a hard time. Ask them how the holiday was. Maybe let them vent. And then I want to challenge you to pray for them. Ask them how you can pray for them. Be a blessing to them if you are being blessed right now in this season through God. But remember, whatever the world offers is never good. Jesus promises He can take it all. He can take all of our problems. He can take our baggage, and He can help us get through it. Be blessed, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. I hope I see you on Sunday at any of our campuses. We have lots of good stuff planned.